What's up, y'all? Today, we're talking about inspirations. Today, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to be going through my Instagram followers and showing off and talking to you guys on why I follow these people, how they inspire me, and just, give you guys some insight on their work because these are all fantastic artists that I think you guys will all really enjoy. So obviously I follow a lot of people, so to make these videos not 20 hours long, I'm definitely going to break them up into different sections, categories, etc. So today, we'll do our first category, focusing on film photographers. So as most of you all know, I mostly shoot film. So having these artists to look at while I'm looking for inspiration and just trying to absorb the film community, these really are some fantastic artists that I think really speak to me, artists that I want to personify in my work. First up, Pangea Analog. Pangea Analog is a fantastic film photographer from Germany, mostly shooting 35 and 120. His street photography style is beautiful. I'll put up some images right over here. Since he's from Germany, that's not a place where you usually see a lot of photos coming from, but when I look at his work when he's traveling or when he's in Germany, it really shows a great, insight on what it's like living in Germany right now. I think his street style is fantastic. His lifestyle photography is great. He does a lot of product shoots as well, which I think are really dope, mostly footwear. So that's just a great look if you're looking into fashion, if you just want something cool to look at with colors. His colors are fantastic. All of his film is just beautiful. He picks the right film for the right moods, and yeah. Next, Kane Scans. Kind of like Pangea as well. He's a German film photographer. His film stuff is also great. I love looking at his work. Pangea and Kane are in the same collective. They shoot digital and film with a bunch of other German photographers. Their work is fantastic as a collective. The way Kane shoots on film is super like old school, and I think that's what's really dope about it. Like, it reminds me of having home photos, like looking at your grandparents' photos of like them just hanging out with friends and stuff. His photos kind of resemble that same kind of easy shot of just, candid photos, which are just him hanging out with his friends at parties and stuff like that. So his work is super dope on film. I love his stuff. Moving on, Willem Verbeck. Willem Verbeck is a young New York photographer, mostly shoots medium format. That's something that I haven't shot before. 120 film is pretty different than 35 millimeter. I mostly shoot 35 millimeter, but Willem was the first medium format photographer that I found myself following. I heard about him from the Analog Talk podcast. That's a great podcast if you like podcasts, like film, photography, anything like that. Willem was one of the first guests that I heard, and just hearing him speak about being young, getting into film, doing fashion portrait work, and just his passion for film, I wanted to learn more about him, so I followed him. He's been doing a lot of fantastic work with portraits. Obviously, that's his main focus, but he just put out his new zine, America's Playground, which focuses on Coney Island. He takes great photos of the people in the area as well as just like the overall landscape of it, and I think it really suits his style of work because his stuff is super dope. His colors are very low, but they still have a really bright feel to them. Moving on, Devin Boscovich. Devin is a pretty dope film photographer from New York. He has some great portraits. A lot of his work is very artistic, very kind of, it takes you a while to look at the photos and kind of observe what he's doing. When he's not doing portrait work, he does work with a lot of flowers and plants, and I think it's just really cool having that look in a studio, as well as the portraits next to them. He takes great photos of like the human body and just everything, that the way he styles his look It looks super old school, and I think that's kind of what attracted me to him, was just this old school kind of feel to things. Also, just the beautiful artistic work is super dope. Next up, I got London-based photographer Phil Maui. He's a great photographer as well. The way I found out about Phil Maui was from actually the fashion collective PAQ. They're a London-based collective of guys that do a lot of fashion challenges, stuff like that. They're super dope. Check them out as well. But there was one challenge that they had to do for a magazine spread, and one of the members chose Phil Maui to do his photos for him. And once I saw him work in the studio, I was like, yo, this guy is great. The way he works in the studio is something that I've never seen before. This was really early on, before I really started getting into film, and I was just kind of trying to learn about photography and stuff. Seeing him shoot in a studio with this specific challenge and the art direction for it, I think he made a really dope look for it. It came out super cool, and since it was all shot on film, like, it was just something that I'd never seen before, and I really just enjoyed looking at his stuff overall. His portraits are really dope. He does a lot of stuff with black male figures, which you don't really see in photography, film photography especially, so it's just cool to look at that and just see the different representations of people in his work. Next up, New York-based photographer Toots, another dope portrait photographer. A little bit more modern, I would say, in his type of work. I found him just looking through other photographers and just kind of seeing who people follow and stuff like that. He stood out to me a lot just because of the way he shoots his portraits as well. He has a very different style to shooting his portraits. They're a very professional editorial look, not that kind of gritty street photography portraits that I personally like. So it was just something different to see this editorial look on a film page. I have something I've never seen before. I'm fairly new to his work, so I'm excited to see what he has to keep providing, because his work is super cool. Lastly, I want to plug my boy Adam Cole Studios. Adam is a local OC-based film photographer, mostly, again, working with portraits. All of his models, beautiful women, and just the way he works with his models, the way he's able to pose them and do his different series with them. Like, he has a blue room, a lot of beach work, and most of his work is just from his house. So it's just cool to see a really domestic portraiture. This guy's photos speak for himself. You know, he really has an eye for model work, and you know, I wish him the best, because he definitely has potential. He's a great photographer, and film, I think, was a perfect choice for him. I've seen a lot of, obviously, digital photographers shoot models, but there's something about Adam's work that's just different, because it is on film. The way the models look in his photos are really cool, really different. Each model looks different as a person, and the film also helps make them separate from, you know, the last shot of the same model. Really dope work. Adam, you're a champ. Thank you guys for tuning into today's video. If you guys liked it, hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment of what you want to see in my next video. If you want me to keep doing these who I follow on Instagram things, go ahead and let me know what I should do. If you want me to talk about digital photographers, music artists, other artists. I follow a lot of people, so I'm sure I can find something to talk about. But thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.